Good evening. This is Flow and Restore on Thursday, October 21st. I'm Emily. I use she and her. Your props for the evening are 2 blocks, a blanket, a yoga belt, a bolster, and wall space. And we'll start with, we're really going to use the blanket and the blocks first. Everything else we'll use a little bit later in class. You might like to have the belt near you just in case. So go ahead and get your props if you're just getting the list set up. Otherwise, we're going to start laying down on your belly. So go ahead on your mat and lay on your belly. Turn your head to one side when you arrive. And begin to deepen the breath as you lay on your belly. And feel the connection of your body and the ground. You'll feel the pressure increase as you inhale, as the belly moves towards the floor, and pressure decrease as you exhale and let your body relax a little bit more. Welcome yourself to the practice and take a moment to appreciate the time you're creating for your own wellness. There are so many situations that we find ourselves in where the care that we know we need and we know all of us deserve is not offered. Whether it's a medical procedure, whether it's having to deal with a paperwork situation, whether it's being in some sort of transactional moment, that there's often really not a lot of opportunity to really be fully informed and consented when we go through whatever it is we go through. And that's a bit of a shock to the system, even if we don't register it as that. So we need to find ways to protect ourselves and also practice a kind of internal consent and an internal care that we can offer to ourselves, particularly in those moments when we find ourselves in an aggressive moment or something that's scary, even if maybe it's good for us, like a procedure that's being done to fix our teeth or address a medical condition. How can we take it upon ourselves in the moments when we're not offered that kind of care? And we get to practice that in the yoga practice. We're finding a sense of unity, harmony, groundedness is the point. Turn your head the other direction if it's turned just one way. And create a moment's intention or grounding for yourself. If you'd like to mentally articulate something, bring in an intention, please do so now. And we're going to start with the legs, so you can keep your upper body at rest. And lengthen just one of your legs away from your trunk, reaching through the big toe, and let the leg elevate as you lengthen. And notice if your body rolls over to one side, the other leg side as you lift. Try to keep your trunk and your pelvis even as you raise the leg, and then slowly lower it down, exhale. And feel the difference already between one side and the other. One's longer. Other leg, reach back through the big toes and lengthen the leg out and away from the trunk so much so that it starts to rise from the ground. And as you do that, notice as your body roll to the leg side that's down, try to keep your pelvis even and anchored. Breathe in, lengthen, then exhale, lower. Then we're going to switch legs like we're swimming. Inhale, rise, other side, exhale, lower. Inhale, rise, other side. Exhale, lower, all the while finding more length. Inhale, rise, as if you're drawing length from your belly. Exhale, lower, try to stay Even and centered as you rise. Lift, breathe in. Exhale, one more to each side, everybody. Inhale, draw your low belly in for support. Exhale, last side, breathe in. And breathe out. Nice. Take a moment to relax the legs. Let them soften and melt to the ground. Give your hips a sway from side to side. Nice. And now you'll keep your arms at rest. You can keep them by your sides or form a gentle cactus so that your elbows are bent. Either way works. Keep your legs anchored and strong. Now inhale, raise your cheek, look forwards, and exhale, lower your head to the other side. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head as if you're reaching from the navel. Turn head, exhale, and lower. So you're not using your arms, you're really just using your upper back. Inhale and deep belly. Lift the head, gently look forwards, exhale and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale and lower. So we're building deep strength in the core. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Pause. Let your upper body soften. Now we're going to alternate legs as we lift and lower the upper body. So choose a leg. Inhale, lengthen it. Lift the upper body, look forwards. As you exhale, lower the leg, lower the cheek. Switching legs. Inhale, lift. Head rises. Turn head. Exhale, lower the leg and rest the cheek. Keep going. Inhale. Find length through the crown, through the toes. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale and lower. Nice. We'll do one more to each side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn and release down. Last side. Inhale. Exhale, turn. Let everything soften again to the ground. The outer hips, the toes, the jaw, the shoulders. Now you're going to stay on your belly, head turned to, let's turn the head to the right just so that we're synced up with my instruction. Bring your legs together and bend your knees so your feet are up towards the sky. Place your right hand in front of your shoulder. So just down like you're doing a cobra on that side. Take your other arm out to a T or a cactus shape. We're going to stretch the left pec. So let your feet drop over to the left, press into the ground and roll towards the side of your head, towards the side of your body on the left to open up your shoulder. Let the head relax. Breathe into the upper left shoulder. Good. Exhale. Nice, everybody. Now lift your feet, roll back onto your belly. We're going to switch sides. Bring your right arm out to a T. Left hand under shoulder, look to the left. Drop your feet over to the right, press into the ground, and roll toward your right side to stretch your right pec. Breathe in. Relax the neck, exhale. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. And breathe out. Raise your feet, roll back onto your belly, bring your feet to the ground, both hands under your shoulders. Now press back into a child's pose. Stretch your hips, release your forehead. Walk your hands up. Maybe you'd like a blanket under your knees. You're coming to kneel. Tuck your toes under. Bring your heels together, big toes together, and then you're going to sit and stretch the feet open. So let your weight drop down onto your heels. As you do this, you might notice that your heels start to split apart from one another. Try to tuck them back together. If this is too much, hands come down to the ground. If it feels okay, you can walk your knees a little further forwards to yawn the feet open. Take a nice breath in. Out through the mouth. Now come onto your hands and knees. Untuck your toes. You're going to turn your hands out to the sides. So rather than straight ahead, turn fingertips to 3 and 9. And then start to rock from side to side. You can let your head relax and circle around. Circle the other way. And then you're going to revolve the wrists forward so your fingertips start to point more towards 6 o'clock. And same thing, revolve one way. Neck is relaxed, revolve the other way. Stretching through the wrists. Come back through center, tuck your toes, round your back like a cat. Drop your head, spread your shoulder blades, and then start to lean your hips back towards your heels, as if you could sit back, but your hands are still plugged down. Relax the neck again, breathe in. And out. One more breath. Exhale, come on forwards. Turn your hands around. And you're gonna come to stand on your shins. Again, you might like a blanket under your knees. You can tuck or untuck your toes. Find your blocks, they'll probably be useful here. And you're gonna place them on the outsides of your feet. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a camel variation. Raise up your left arm, take your right hand onto your block, lift up. We're kind of doing a side bend, kind of a back bend. Big breath as you lean back. Keep lifted in your heart. Keep the breath full in your back. And come up. Exhale. It's a big move. Switch sides, left fingertips down, right arm up. Inhale. Exhale. So we're practicing that kind of care for our own body, for our own breath. So anything you do in this class, let it be first consented for yourself. You don't have to do what I say just because I say. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. We're going to do that one more time to each side, fingertips down. Inhale, rise up, think length, then lean back. And breathe into the side body all the way down through the hip. Inhale up, relax arms. Second and last side, fingertips down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lift up, then back. Feel this all the way into the front of your hip again. Nice, everyone. Breathe in. Come on up. Release your arms. Move your blocks forwards. We're going to use them in just a moment. Bring your forearms to the ground. Parallel forearms. Spread your hands. Tuck your toes, and we're coming into a forearm downward facing dog. Lift your hips. You can definitely keep bent knees. And then tread your legs. Imagine that your underarms are yawning open. Try to relax your head so it's hanging. And lift up through your sitting bones. Feel the legs lengthen. Roll the inner upper arms towards your ears and ground the pinky, the index finger and the thumb. Ground the inside of the hand. Let's take 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, drop the heels. 1 more breath. And breathe out, lower your knees. Come up for a moment. And you'll take both blocks where your elbows are. Set your elbows on your blocks, separate your knees, and you're going to come into child's pose with your elbows up on your blocks. You can bring your palms together, fingertips up towards the sky. And again, feel the underarms yawn open. You can let your head hang in the space between the upper arms. You might shimmy from right to left, the ribs a little bit. 2 more breaths here. And exhale. Good, slowly come on up. We're gonna sit for a twist. You can take a block in between your ankles. Sit upright, very simple twist. Take one arm across to the opposite leg, other hand towards your low back. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, roll your shoulder back. So we're really opening up upper chest today, working on spinal strength. Let your head follow the shoulder. On your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, second side, take the other hand across, and the opposite hand to your lower back. Lift and roll your shoulder back. Breathe in, and exhale. And you can leverage the hand on your thigh into the thigh more to help torque gently the spine. As you stay really nice and upright on your sitting bones. Roll the shoulder back, breathe in, and exhale. Inhale back to center. Release your arms, rest your hands on your thighs just for a moment. Feel already whatever shifts are happening in the body, in the breath, and creating time and space for the kind of care for yourself that you deserve, that we all deserve, so that our nervous system can be regulated, our mind can be still, our body can be balanced. When you're ready, release, coming off of your blocks and come to stand at the front of your mat in mountain pose. You can keep the blanket for your knees if you'd like. We're going to be doing a little bit of lunging, and we'll be doing a bit of a flow, a sun salutation with lunges. So move swiftly with me or take more time if you'd like. We're going to go a little slower the first round. Set the gaze, feel the feet. Inhale, arms raised, look up to the hands. Exhale, fold over your legs. Step your right leg back, lower your knee. Inhale, raise your arms up, bring your palms together to touch, look up toward your hands. Then bend your elbows, let your fingertips drop back towards the center of your spine. Breathe in. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step right into plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, lower down in the way that you'd like. Untuck your toes, strong legs. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Press back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. 1 more. Lift the sitting bones. Exhale. Look forwards. Step your right foot forwards between your hands. Lower your left knee down. Untuck your toes. Raise your arms up. Look up to hands. Exhale. Bend the elbows. Let your fingertips drape down the back as you lift the inner upper arms. Arc high. Breathe in. Spread your toes in front for balance. And exhale. Arms raise. Hands to floor. Step forwards and fold. Hang in your forward fold for a moment. You might tread your legs. You might hold your arms, let your whole body hang as the legs, like trunks, support you. And release the arms, bend your knees, roll up through your spine. We're going to take that same flow a little bit quicker. Inhale, arms raised. Exhale, fold over your legs. Step the left leg back, breathe in, raise arms, hands come together, drop them back. Inhale, step into plank, exhale and lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to the floor and back, downward facing dog. 1 breath here, inhale. Exhale. Left foot steps forward, lower your back knee, raise your arms, breathe in. Bend your elbows, look up. Exhale, touch the floor, step forwards and fold. Curl up your spine, breathe in. Arms raise up overhead. We'll take a second side. Exhale, fold. Right leg steps back, lower your knee, raise your arms. Hands together, bend the elbows. Exhale, right into plank pose. Lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to the floor and downward facing dog. 1 breath here. Exhale. Right foot forwards, left knee down, arms raised, bend the elbows, look up. Exhale, hands touch down, plank, find the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Downward facing dog. Let's take a breath. So we're doing this continuously. Nice, everybody. We'll step the left foot forwards, lower the right knee down, inhale, arms raised. Bend the elbows. Exhale all the way back to plank, then to the ground. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Back to dog, breathe in. And breathe out. Good, 1 more time, right leg steps forwards, lower the back knee, arms lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands touch down, step forwards and fold. Hang over the legs. And bend your knees, slowly roll yourself all the way back up to stand. And feel already again the shift in your body. The temperature shift, the heart rate. What's true in your mind and in your energy body. We're going to do a little balancing sequence. Bring your hands onto your hips. Press down strong into your right leg and lift, left leg, lift your right. And let's take this into figure 4, ankle over your opposite thigh. Then start to sit back. As you sit back, try to keep the hips even so your hips aren't swinging to the left. Keep them more towards center. Bring your hands to your heart. Sit low as you lift your sternum to your hands so that you're not rounding the spine. Lift your low belly. Maybe your arms reach up. Maybe your palms face back. See if you can bring your hands together and point the fingertips down towards your middle back here. Sit low. Breathe in. Exhale, straighten your arms, bring your hands to your hips. Tall, come back to standing, bring your right leg towards your chest, and then step back into pyramid pose. So 2 legs here on ground. Square your hips forwards, breathe in. Exhale, bring your hands behind you. Maybe you take a reversed prayer, or maybe you make 2 fists, whichever works better for you. Widen your collarbones, and then hinge yourself forwards. Pause at your halfway point, engage your core. If you'd like, curl further forwards, letting the head drop down towards the shin. Hug the inner thighs together to support your balance. Breathe in. Exhale slow through the nose. Slowly come up through a tall spine and rise. Release your arms. Raise your right arm up. We're going to take a revolved triangle pose. You might like to have a block for this. Bring your hand down onto your block. Left hand to your hip, breathe in and revolve the upper body while your hips stay even. Try to draw the left hip back. Reach strong through the crown of the head. Turn your shoulder. Lift your left shoulder, then maybe the arm follows. And let's take a half bind here. So internally rotate your arm like you're high-fiving someone behind you. Bend your elbow and take your hand to your opposite hip. Lift the opposite hip and breathe. Exhale. Good. Unwind your arm. Take your hand down. Step your back foot further back. Lower your knee. And then re-straighten your front leg. So you're coming into a half Hanumanasana. Breathe in. And exhale, fold forwards. Let's do that a few times. Curl the spine up. Inhale. Exhale, forwards. Inhale, curling up. Exhale, forwards. Pause forward this time. Take both blocks to the outside of your left leg, and let's do a nice side bend. Walk the blocks away from you on the outside of the left leg. Breathe into the right lung. And then walk your blocks back around both legs. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee, and let's pivot towards the back leg into a wide straddle. You might come onto your forearms on blocks here. If you'd like, you can hold your ankles or interlace fingers. Whatever variations feel right for you. You might wag your tail a little bit. And then walk your hands up. Pivot your feet and step your feet together. Hanging over your legs, bend your knees. Then roll yourself all the way up to standing. Take a moment again to steady your eyes, to steady your breath. Second side, hands to hips. Stand strong in your right leg, lift your left knee. Flex the foot, ankle over thigh, start to sit back. As you do this, notice does your whole body swing to the right. Try to keep everything towards center. Bring your hands to your heart. Sit low. Lift your sternum to your thumbs. Lift your gaze gently and let the spine follow the lift of the gaze. Try lifting your arms. Try turning your palms back. As you stay sitting low, hands together, bend your elbows. See if you can keep the heart lifted as you sit low. Breathe in. Exhale. One more. Straighten your arms, straighten your legs, bring your hands to your hips and step back, pyramid pose. Square your hips. Bring your hands into a reverse prayer or 2 fists to touch. Then roll back the shoulders. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hinge and pause at halfway. Remember the deep abdominal core muscles hugging in like they're hugging your organs. From here, choose to curl all the way forwards if you'd like. Let your head fall. See how this throws your balance, right? Like when someone kind of sends you a nasty look or says something that's totally out of turn, can you offer yourself care in those moments where you're thrown off? Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, stand. Maybe offering compassion to that person who might themselves not be getting the care they need. Raise up through your left arm, breathe in. Release your hands from there, from the bind. Exhale, hand to your block. And bring your right hand to your hip, draw the hip back, start to revolve your triangle. Turn the shoulder, then raise your arm. Notice if your hip starts to drop on the left side, try to keep your hips even. And internally rotate your arm, take your hand to your opposite hip and lift the shoulder more. Maybe your head relaxes down. And breathing in, breathing out. One more like this, inhale. Exhale, unwind your arm, hands down, turn towards your back leg and into a wide straddle. Bring your blocks along if you'd like. This time, heels in, toes out, and let's do a little side to side for the inner thighs. Trap the knees over the toes. Release the neck and breathe. You might stay on one side a little longer, maybe bow in a little deeper. Switching sides as you'd like. Really nice. And then you'll walk yourself back towards the front of your mat, bring your blocks along, step your feet together, bend your knees, and slowly start to curl up through your spine. Take just a few moments in mountain pose, noticing if there's any renewed height or integrity in your standing position, a little bit more space for breath, for offering that kind of care internally. And then option to do an active inversion. So if you'd like, we can take a moment to shift to the wall and practice forearm stand. And if this is downward facing dog or forearm dolphin with one leg lifted, that's great. You can absolutely work that as well. So short end of your mat to the wall. I like to use a block for this so that you can frame your hands. You can see here, you can put it right around your hands when you come to the ground. So the block can be all the way to the wall or almost all the way to the wall. And you'll kneel and then wrap your hands around your block and parallel your forearms. And keep grounding the thumb and the index to the ground and into the block. And you'll tuck your toes, lift your knees, and come into your dolphin shape. Now tread your legs and notice how this feels as compared to the beginning of class. There might be a little bit more openness in the upper body. And then try raising just one leg. And as you raise one leg, notice do your hips open up or does your weight roll to the leg that's on the ground? Try to keep your weight evenly balanced and your hips square. And then take that foot down and switch sides. And you might decide to lower your knees and rest in between, that's fine. And notice again, is your body leaning towards the leg that's on the ground? Can you find center and close your hips? Yeah, good. Feet down, lower your knees. Maybe take a moment to sit up, pause. It's a while to be in an active inversion. Feel how you're doing and what care you can apply to the next stages. You might do the same thing again. You might decide, oh, I want to do legs up the wall, fine. Or maybe we'll try a couple of hops. So bring your arms back down if you're taking that. Frame around your block, tuck your toes, lift your knees. Step your feet a little closer to your elbows and open your chest. Let your head simply hang for now, but then lean your weight towards the elbows. So you're lifting up on your tippy toes. Then raise one leg. Then see if you can recenter so you're not leaning over to one side. Bend the other knee. Keep the lifted leg totally straight. and see if you can lift yourself up toward the wall. And you might try that a couple times and then switch legs, other leg up. High tippy toes, lean your weight forward into your forearms, bend the bottom leg, top leg stays totally straight. That's it. Try hugging the inner thighs together as you possibly maybe lift. If you're lifting, you can take your gaze toward the forearms. You might try this a time or two. You might give yourself a nice rest. Yes, that's it. Beautiful. Tippy toes on the leg that's on the ground. Tippy toes and lean the weight. Give it one more try if you'd like, or say that's enough. That's it. Yes. Lift. Beautiful work. Yes. And then give yourself a rest. That's enough. Maybe sit back on your shins for a moment. And breathe. Just letting everything come back down. That was a moment of spike. And then you can move your mat away from the wall or keep it there if that works for you. And find your yoga belt and your blanket. Your blanket's just going to go behind your head because it's comfortable. We're switching gears. So as you're setting this up, if you want to, it's kind of an abrupt shift. We're moving from quite an active shape to more of a release. So if you want to change anything about the environment that you're in, you can change the lighting or your clothing, take a sip of water. If you want to do another flow, you're welcome to do that to help you transition. Whatever's going to be supportive in your taking care of yourself. So we're going to do a simple sequence with the yoga belt. We did a really nice active stretch there with lifting up into forearm stand. And now we're going to give ourselves more of a passive release stretch. So go ahead when you're ready, lay down on your back. Head is rested on your blanket. And loop your belt over the ball of one foot. The opposite leg can lengthen away from you. You might decide to keep the knee bent if your hamstrings are quite tight. I like to loop the belt around my hands once so that there's a little sling. And then take a moment to feel that your pelvis is even on each side. And you're not leaning all the way over to the long grounded leg side. Press up through the heel, breathe in, relax the shoulders and jaw, breathe out. So this is a really nice release for the hamstrings. Maybe you'll feel a little trembling. That's welcome. Care for yourself as you go through the discomfort, some of these shapes. See if you can ground your lifted leg hip. Really keep that pelvic half moving into the ground as your heel lifts away from the ground. Let the breath really deepen. Long exhale, softening the neck. One more. Exhale. So you're going to stay on this side, but we're going to do a very small adjustment. Keep hold with both hands and guide your leg over to the other side, just a few inches. So you're not going far. Yep, just a few inches, but keep the pelvis grounded on that side. Wow. There's a lot of sensation for me in the lower back, the outer hip, the outer thigh. Relax the neck and jaw again. And if you want, you can add the foot by lifting the pinky edge of the foot towards the sky. And now feel how the calf, the outer calf gets involved. Deep, full breaths, everyone. Maybe a sigh on the exhale. Let's take 2 more breaths. Last one. Exhale. Nice, everybody. Bring your leg back up. Keep hold with the belt. And now you're just going to make circles. You might give the belt a little bit of slack. Just circle your leg in, out, and around like you're drawing on the sky. It's fine if you rock on the pelvis here. We're just trying to get a lot of range. Circle the other way. You might linger with your leg open or at another angle. Really nice. And come on back up. And slip your left foot up and take your right leg down. Switching sides. Loop up the belt again, lengthen your right leg down to the mat, and feel your pelvis from right to left. Can you ground down into the lifted leg side? And then really actively start to reach up through your heel as your shoulders drop. And breathe through whatever arises here. You might notice that your teeth chatter a little bit, or your jaw clenches, or there's a little bit of kind of that energy, trembling energy through your whole body. Can you soften all of that? And let the breath deepen. The inhale filling the back of your body. And the exhale taking some edge off of any tension that might still be there. Same shape. You're just going to lean the leg across towards the opposite side, just a few inches. So lean the belt, just a couple inches. Keep your pelvis grounded. Wow. This is always like the surprise, the subtle surprise shape for me. And the more I keep that lifted leg hip down and the hip crease pressing away from my underarm, the more defined the sensation becomes. And breathing here. You might let out a sigh again. Nice, one more. Exhale. Bring your leg back up, keep hold of the belt, and big circles all around. I kind of like to hold the belt with one hand here. Just helps the range be a little bit more fluid. Maybe you pause in a spot that feels really luxurious. Switch directions and keep the breath going. Last circle around. And release. We'll let the belt go, move it to the side. Now you're going to lift up both legs and both arms. Good. You can sort of let your wrists be really released, your hands hang, your legs are just dangling in the air. And then we're going to start to do a little shake. You're going to shake your feet, you're going to shake your hands. You might let your pelvis bop a little bit. So all of those moments when we feel like we haven't gotten the kind of attentiveness and care that we really need to feel okay, I'm going to try to let some of that go. So that sort of shock that we have throughout the day, start to release that. This is a bit energizing, but just shake it out for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet down, arms down, and just pause. Let your knees knock together. Feel the heartbeat. Now find your blocks. And you can take 1 or 2 blocks under your pelvis. I like 2 next to each other. It forms a little bit wider of a platform. And come into a supported bridge. You can keep the blanket under your head if you like, or if it feels like it's too crunchy for your neck, move it out of the way. And just pause with this gentle elevation for a moment. We're going to turn this into a little bit of a ramp, or a kind of release for the psoas muscle. So lengthen one leg away from you and flex that foot. So your toes are pointed up towards the ceiling. Now take your other knee into your chest and hold on to either the thigh behind or your shin. And gently bend your elbows to draw the bent knee into your chest, keeping the opposite leg reaching away and the foot flexed. So what we're doing is targeting the long leg hip flexor. Breathe in. Big sigh out. This is another really great way to release some of the tension, the fear that starts to live in the body, especially when we're not cared for and treated in the ways that we need to be to feel safe. One more breath. And exhale. Place your long leg foot on the floor and then follow with your bent knee, both feet on the ground. Just pause. Just feel the contrast between the legs. On the second side, you'll bring your other knee in and the opposite leg long. Press through your heel of the long leg. Reach away with your heel, toes up towards the sky, the bent knee, bend your elbows, and let the weight of the arms start to carry the thigh closer to your belly. As you do that, keep reaching away with the opposite foot to release your hip flexor. What's going on now in the shoulders and the jaw, soften all of that. And breathe. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And let go. Feet to the ground. Both knees are bent, both feet are grounded. Pause in this supported bridge. You might bring your arms into cactus. You might rotate your wrists, open and close the hands. You can stay in the supported bridge or lift both feet into the air. It might feel nice to loop your belt around your feet, just to give you something to press into as your legs are lifted. This is Vikarita Karani. With lifted legs, the hope is that there's no extra effort to lift your legs. It's partly why the belt can be useful to eliminate the hip flexors from working. A couple of sweet breaths, letting the legs drain. This is so good for fatigue. It's great for the immune system. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale deeply. Exhale like you mean it. Exhale. And bend your knees. Take your feet down. Move your blocks out from beneath you. Lower your hips down. And separate your feet as wide as your mat. And let's do a wide kneed twist. Let your knees drop to one side and take a breath. Exhale. Lift the knees and let them drop to the other side. And take a breath. And let's windshield wipe the legs a couple of times. Then roll all the way over to one side and slowly pick yourself up. You'll move the blanket that's there underneath your head. And we're going to come to a supported fish pose. So one block is going to go right between your shoulder blades. I like to do it on its long length, lowest height. Second block can be on its second height or its first. Second height is going to give you more support. First height is going to give you a little bit more of an opening. So position one block for between your shoulder blades. If you like a more steep fish, which some of you might enjoy, you can take the block on its highest height and put it along your spine like this. So that's definitely going to be much more aggressive. So either way, lowest height or its second height. I'm going to do the lowest one. It's a little too much. Then you'll lower your shoulder blades down, legs are bent. Position your head on your block. And then choice to bring your arms into a T shape, cactus, where you might reach your arms overhead. Overhead, of course, is going to be a lot more intense and more active. So find a position that you know you can be in with ease. If you're choosing the more active arms overhead, maybe just be there for a couple of breaths and then let your arms drop into something more soft. We're going to be here for about a minute, and then we're going to transfer into a very simple Shavasana with the bolster under the knees. Feel how the breath naturally increases and the volume of the lungs broadens, widens with the block beneath the ribs. You feel the tissues around the ribs stretching. Can you soften the space around your eyes? Can you relax the upper chest, the upper arms? Let the pelvis sink. Two more breaths together. Exhale. Last one. And exhale. And you're gently going to come off. Just roll to your side. A little awkward to come off the blocks this way. Press yourself up and move the blocks out of the way. You might find your blanket again, place that underneath your head. Find your bolster, your cushion, and you'll place that under your thighs. You might find something to cover over your eyes. You might find your cushion over your abdomen instead. If you'd like that for grounding, you can use your blocks under your knees and your cushion on your belly. And take just a moment to settle in and feel, after doing fish pose, how the ground almost opens up under you, that there's a sense that your body is perfectly molded towards the ground. Spread your arms gently away from your body. Let your legs gently roll open. Release the jaw. You might take your fingertips to your jaw and just do a couple of circles around the jaw muscles, especially if you're finding it's hard to let the jaw relax. And then put your hands to rest, put your mind to rest. Put everything to rest as an act of caring for yourself. And as we know, we are all integrally connected to one another. So caring for yourself is in fact caring for the circles that surround you, those that you come in contact with, creating a little bit more bandwidth, a little bit more compassion. best you can, let everything for these moments drop. Give your worries to the earth. Some of you may choose to stay resting longer. Please do. I encourage you to stay another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you're transitioning now, first deepen the breath. Move the fingers and toes. Roll the head. Stretch your body. Gather in your knees. Maybe rock on your back a moment. Roll to your side and slowly press upright. Take your time. Find a seat that's easeful for you, maybe up on a block, your bolster. Lay your hands on your body, your heart, your belly. Come full circle, sensing any shifts in your spirit, your energy, your physical forms from when you began. Appreciate the care that you're able to offer yourself in this practice. And consider what from the practice you might take into the rest of your day, into the rest of the week. Moment for gratitude. A moment to honor all of the teachers in this lineage of yoga. And when you're ready, feel free to bow. Thank you for your practice, everyone. Take the best care. We're in the park on Sunday, 9:30, Prospect Park teaching. We have a wonderful event coming up Saturday, the 23rd. It's an altar building event. I hope you'll join us in person from 2 to 5. There'll be sandwiches and fresh juice. Thank you, everyone.